All right, here we go. So number one is pointing at the rough ER. Okay, and the rough ER transports proteins. 1 mark for rough ER, 1 mark for transports protein. Okay, number 2 is pointing at the smooth ER. And I will accept any of the following functions. Makes lipids, makes hormones, breaks down complex carbohydrates, detoxifies poisons. I'll accept repairs membranes too. All right, any one of those. All right, so they get 1 mark for smooth ER and 1 mark for function. Okay, if they wrote all 5 functions, they only get 1 mark. Sorry about that, but okay, you get 1 mark. All right, number 3 is pointing at the nucleus. That one's got to be spelled right. Okay, it has to be spelled that way, so it can't be nucleolus. And hopefully trying to squeeze out a mark because they didn't know the difference. Okay, the nucleus stores DNA. Okay, number 4 is the nucleolus. That one must also be spelled correctly. And the nucleolus, I will accept either one of the following. Controls protein synthesis or copies DNA. Either one of those would be fine. That's copies DNA, yes, I accept that as well. It doesn't store it, it produces it and sends it out. All right, for number 5, that is the nuclear membrane. Okay, the nuclear membrane's job is to control what gets in and out of the nucleus, release RNA into the cytoplasm, something along those lines. No, it's not a wall. Okay, number 6, ribosomes. And ribosomes make protein. Okay, number 7 is the Golgi apparatus. Okay, if they have something about exporting wastes from the cell, packaging waste, processing waste, or making digestive enzymes, I will also accept. Okay, number 8 is the cell membrane. Controls endocytosis and exocytosis. Number 9 is the mitochondria. Right, and the mitochondria burns sugar for energy. Yeah, that's fine, where energy is produced, yeah. Okay, number 10. It's pointing at that thing. That is a lysosome. Okay, and a lysosome digests food. Yeah, it's got food in it, see? See the little brown dots inside? If they had peroxisome, I will also accept that then. Since it was difficult to tell, I will also accept peroxisome. Okay? And their job is to hold digestive enzymes until encountered with food or something like that. Okay. All right, number 12, the stringy things. I will accept any one of the following. Microfibers. Or if you spell it ER, I don't care. There's 2 ways. Fibers, fiber. Okay, microfilaments. And I'll even accept microtubules, although they're really obviously not tubes. Okay, and they help keep the shape of the cell. That's 11, yep. Oh, sorry, that's 12. Sorry, that's 12. Sorry, number 12. Sorry, 12, 12, 12. This one, 12. The one I was writing under that said stringy things. That one. Okay, number 11, because it's up here, I'm doing it out of order. These are the centrioles. Okay, and they help with cell division. And if they wrote pulls DNA to separate sides of the cell, that would be helping with cell division. Okay. All right, it's out of 24. Give them a mark out of 24. Let them see it. Put it in the box. Yeah, okay. Hello.
What does this PR do again?
Any one of the 4 jobs. What have you got written down? Yes, build and repair membranes. Yep.
Oh. Jeez, my lord. Change it.
Yes, it's fine. Just change it. Okay, now, this, guys, I am hoping we will get done in class today, so it will not be any homework. All right, what we're going to go over here is that we are going to have our literacy thing here going on, okay, because our school division's got this big push on literacy. So what we're doing here is working on kind of reading a scientific type of article, okay, and being able to discern what kind of things are important, okay, versus what kind of things may not be, and then kind of getting the most out of the article. So that's what we're going to be going over. Then there's some questions to answer after that, all right, and then we're done. So it's really not too much here to do. All right. Now, what I want you to do first, okay, is to read the article, okay, and highlight anything that you aren't sure of. Okay, so highlight any words you don't understand, okay, or sentences that don't make sense to you, or whatever, and then afterwards, we'll go over those, okay? Don't be shy about saying, I didn't know what this word meant, because chances are you were the only person brave enough to say it of the, 15 or 20 people who also didn't understand it, right? Chances are if you didn't understand that word, it was something that gave people trouble. I already have a few highlighted that I know generally give people trouble, okay? So if you know what those words are, good for you. If you don't worry, I'm going to go over those ones anyway, and then we'll go over any other ones in addition to that. All right, anybody follow? Okay, so I'm going to give you a few minutes to read through that, okay, and then we will go over it. I will also hand out the Chromebooks at the same time because I've got this set up for you on there, okay, and you can just type them up, and that'll be faster than writing it, okay? Yes, you can. Okay, let's go over a few of these things here, guys, real quick. All right, first off, reverse osmosis and osmosis, are they the same thing? No, they are most definitely not. Okay, in osmosis, you've got water moving across a membrane on its own. Okay, it's moving on its own across a membrane to make sure that solutes are balanced on both sides. Reverse osmosis, is forcing water the other way, concentrating solutes on one side and making clean water on the other. Okay, so they are very different processes. The only thing they have in common is water moves across a membrane. Agreed? All right, so some terminology here. Desalinization refers to the removal of salts, okay, from any water source that has a saline content, okay, like salt water, ocean water, okay, things like that, right? All that salt has to be removed, obviously, before it's fit for human consumption, okay? Other terms here some people sometimes have trouble with. Unprecedented, okay? Anyone tell me what unprecedented means? Sort of unexpected, but also on a level never before encountered. Okay, like for example, the flooding we had in 2013 was unprecedented. Okay, we had not had a flood like that in over 100 years. All right, and so it was, something not just unexpected, but also beyond anything that could have been expected or really prepared for. Okay, torrential flooding. Torrential means huge amounts coming down in torrents. Okay, meaning like just basically an incredible, unfathomable amount. All right, continuing on here. Okay, semi-permeable membrane. If something is permeable, everything can go through it. If something is semi-permeable, some things can go through and some things can't. Okay, your cell membrane is semi-permeable. In fact, it is selectively permeable, right? Because it has at least some ability to select what gets through and what doesn't. Okay, the membrane used in reverse osmosis is semi-permeable. Okay, some things can go through, some things can't. All right. Other terms here. Osmotic pressure. Okay, osmotic pressure is what causes water to move across the membrane in normal osmosis. Okay, it is not so much a pressure as it is the movement of water because there's more salt on one side than another. Okay, we say that creates a pressure. It's not really like like putting air pressure onto something or water pressure onto something, but it is something that makes the water go across the membrane in that direction. Okay? Does reverse osmosis use osmotic pressure? It can't, because osmotic pressure would pull the water across until it was balanced. Okay? Whereas in reverse osmosis, we're using a pump. Okay? And the pump is creating water pressure, forcing the water across the membrane. Right, so very different things there. All right, concentrate basically means how much salt is in the solution. Okay, the more concentrated something becomes, the more salt is dissolved in that solution. When it becomes as concentrated as possible, it'll begin to precipitate, and that solution will be, when it can't hold anymore, saturated, right, from last unit. Okay, bars of pressure. Bars are a unit for pressure. Okay, we tend to use pascals for pressure because pascals is the metric system unit for pressure. All right. If you're in French immersion, you know what this word is. Okay, but I have a few people who aren't in French immersion and do not know what voila means. Okay, it means there it is. All right, it's done. Okay, there it is. All right. Skeletal fluorosis. What is that? Okay, that's the symptoms of it, yes. Okay, what's it caused by? A lack of minerals that are used for proper bone formation. Okay, it's kind of like rickets, if you've ever heard of that term. Okay, the bending of a person's bones because they do not have sufficient minerals in them to make them strong. Okay, you need the minerals that are in normal water. Right? If you're always drinking water that has no minerals in it, that's really not actually all that good for you. Right? So something to think about. Okay. Your enamel fluorosis as well, mottled teeth. Basically, you start to get spots on your teeth. Okay, things like that. All right. Impediment. If something, the word impediment comes from the word impede. If you are impeding somebody, what are you doing? Stopping them or slowing them down, you're interfering with their progress in some way. So an impediment is anything that interferes with progress. Right? WHO and UNICEF. WHO is the World Health Organization. Right? They're the ones right now that are battling the Ebola outbreak. Okay? And trying desperately, vainly, to contain it and control it. Okay? They've kind of had their shot a few times with things they thought might become pandemics and kind of blew it. Okay? It's very tough with the way our society is now, where we can travel by plane from continent to continent in short times to contain a deadly virus. That's where all those kind of doom and gloom of post-apocalyptic zombie movies get their themes from. Okay, UNICEF, okay, is the United Nations International Children's, I'm forgetting what, Emergency Fund. There we go. Okay, you used to bring, if you were, maybe when you were a kid, you had the little box of pennies that you would go around and collect change for UNICEF, okay, to feed the children. So that's what that does. The big thing there, guys, okay, the big kind of theme of the World Health Organization and UNICEF, all right, the single best thing you can do for a person in an impoverished nation is to provide them with clean drinking water. More important than anything else is clean drinking water. It is the resource you need more than anything. All right? And unfortunately, in a lot of the impoverished nations, not only do they not have enough food, but they're drinking water that is contaminated with all kinds of awful things. Okay? Things that make them, in addition to being incredibly hungry, also incredibly sick. All right? If you get dysentery, for example. All right? Dysentery is caused by a type of amoeba that lives in contaminated water. And if you get dysentery, you basically have diarrhea for several days, and you basically cannot leave the bathroom. Now, I know right now to you that probably sounds, well, that would be really inconvenient. It's also deadly. Right? If you imagine having diarrhea for several days in a row, how much fluid you would lose. Fluid, electrolytes, not being able to keep any food in you for a sufficient time for it to digest and give you energy. Okay, this is the leading cause of children in impoverished nations. Okay, drinking unclean drinking water, okay, and getting sick as a result. All right, so clean drinking water, kind of important. All right. All right. All right, so now you got your 4 questions there. Now we're looking for more than yes or no answers here. Okay, we would like thorough answers with good explanations, justifications from the article itself, okay, using good scientific terminology that you found in the article. All right, that's how you're going to kind of be graded on these. All right, so you're comparing and contrasting the membranes used in reverse osmosis with a cell membrane. Some of that is in the article. You could maybe also look it up, as you do in fact have a computer in front of you. Okay, if you can't find it exactly in there, you could also look it up. Okay, what provides the force needed to move water across the membrane in both osmosis and reverse osmosis? Well, I kind of gave that away, but you need to explain it a little bit. Okay, in the article, it does mention some stuff about whether you think using reverse osmosis would be an acceptable way to conserve water in a place like Okotoks, where water conservation is important. Okay, so basically it's asking you if you think reverse osmosis would be a good way to treat the water in Okotoks, okay, for the entire town. And then for the fourth one, reverse osmosis was used to ensure impurities were removed from certain products like wine and syrup. Can you think of any reason why purists might disagree with the use of this process in making these products? Okay, purists would be the people that would, like lay down on the ground underneath the tap under the maple tree and just drink the syrup as it came out. Okay, everyone follow me there? All right, a purist might not like the fact that you're taking the impurities out. Why would they think that? Okay, what would be some advantages, disadvantages? All right, stuff like that. All right, you have 35 minutes to work on that. I'm hoping that you'll get it done today so that it isn't homework, but I'm not making the due date until Tuesday. All right, so if you do get it done, but then you want to spend a little more time tweaking answers or something like that at some later point, that's fine. If you get it done today, turn it in. All right, I will mark them on Tuesday. Alrighty, questions? Okay, have at it there, guys.